Hey everyone! Tonight I am doing a full moon reading, and although the full moon is for some people September 9th and 10th, and today is only the 7th, I thought that I would do this early because I haven't done a full moon reading yet, and because we're already in that energy, I thought it was perfect to do it now. Plus, if you're in my membership group, I'm doing our full moon ritual tomorrow based on everything that's been coming up for people in the group. So, this is a great time if you are in our group or you want to come into it to share anything that you have going on and what you would like cleared. And then when I go to do the ritual, I'm going to be hyper focused on the things that you said. And so far, we have things like um, past trauma. Um, I put a little bit of drama with the family in there. I feel like it's going to be a heavy time for relationships. So, if you feel like there's some stuff coming up for you around relationships just in general, that makes sense. Okay, so if you are hopping on, you want to message. I have Isabel, so we're going to start with you. So again, these are going to be general messages. So if you want a personal reading, just reach out to me and let me know what type of reading you're looking for. It could be a love reading, it could be a tarot reading, it could be a future reading, it doesn't matter. And if you just want like a mini reading, etc. So what do we need to know for Isabel and also for our group? And when I say group, I mean the collective, for this full moon. Keeping in mind setting intentions is really important if you do your own card readings or if you're working on anything around this full moon. Intentions are so very important. So if you're looking to make a change in your life, or if you're looking to learn something, it's okay to want to attract and manifest at this time as well. That's what I'm getting. Seems like there's a lot of messages coming up. And my puppy's acting out the second I get on the computer. Okay, so right away, Isabel, what I get in my physical body is it feels empty right here. Okay, so what that means to me is when I feel empty here, that's between my chest and my throat. So what you want to do, my suggestion would be, is if you work with crystals to bring in blue crystals at this time. And the reason why blue crystals will be helpful for you. Okay, I think that was a sign that there's more messages, but it feels like there are people who they need personal readings. That's what I'm getting. So again, if you feel called, reach out to me. If you bring in a blue crystal, what a blue crystal is going to do is it's going to help with balance. And so the reason why we need balance at this time is because when we're letting go of so many different things, that needs to be counteracted with something else. So say you have an addiction of some sort and you need to let go of that, or say it's like weight loss for you. Well, again, what am I going to do instead of like overthinking, or instead of always feeling like I need to compromise with everybody, or people please? That's just what's coming up. Is the blue stone is going to help you realign back into what you feel like you need to find balance in, what you need to counteract things with. All right. So the other thing too is if you bring the blue stone into your heart space, that's going to be even better than actually having it near your throat, a little bit closer to the heart, because you might find that you're able to release some things that you were nervous about or worried about or couldn't figure out. Sometimes when we're looking for balance, it's challenging because we don't even know what we need. All right, so blue stones, I do sell blue stones. If you have some, absolutely work with them. If you need more support with that, I can guide you with crystal healing. Okay, so let me know if that's helpful. Okay, so I think that's a general theme for everybody. With the full moon work with blue stones, we're working with the energy of Pisces, and now I'm getting really hot all of a sudden. And so Pisces, or Piscean energy, is all about water. So it makes sense why there might be some blue element to that, because water can make us feel out of balance. It can make us feel really emotional because we're feeling so much, right? So we need that calmness to come in. We need to figure it out. All right. So if you happen to be doing a ritual, bring in a blue stone to help you with that, all right? So 5 of Wands here. Amanda says, thank you so much. Wow. Okay, great. So feel free to share this out with other people. This will also be underneath my YouTube channel as well. So if you need more information on different topics, that's a really great resource for you to go to. And please make sure you subscribe to support me there. All right. And probably why I painted my nails blue as well. So I think it was Amanda Dawn. All right, so Amanda, what the energy that you're bringing to the table here is that you might be worried about like what other people think. Okay, so as a general theme around this time, notice when you feel like you're either getting into your ego or you're feeling insecure. And so when we have the element of wands coming in, wands teaches us about our creative blocks, again, our self-esteem. And where the Pisces energy is bringing in the highest frequency of love, this is showing us where we're not putting that out to others or where we're not giving that back to ourselves. So again, with your full moon ritual, it might be that you're looking to attract or manifest more security in your life. And so again, therefore you would be releasing where you don't feel secure. Okay, this is patterns of behaviors. This is where you find yourself wanting to help people over helping yourself, right? That's coming up for themes in our group as well, where people are just not focusing on themselves enough. And if you watched my weekly reading already, I did a little painting about that. The weekly reading was really talking about going inward. So if you haven't caught that, specifically, Amanda, you would benefit from watching that and see what the messages are that ring a truth to you. Okay? Puppy's acting up. So you might find, guys, with this full moon that there's some weird energy, and that happens a lot with full moons. And what I mean by weird energies, like strange things happening in your environment. So it might be that you're noticing that you're not yourself. Okay, what do you have there, buddy? What you chewing on? I'm gonna take 1 second here. What you got? Huh? What do you have? He's getting into toilet paper. Okay, so yeah, so you might find that things are just happening out of the blue. Okay, so there's a lot of comfort that's important for us at this time as well. So heal yourself through comfort. Don't feel like you need to deprive yourself. If anything, it's time to bring new elements in that are supportive for you. So another great stone that would be helpful for people is rose quartz. I also sell rose sprays as well. But the reason why rose is so important is because it's the highest vibration that we can work with in terms of love. So invite more loving scents, more creative inspiration, as we were just talking about with Amanda's energy. There's a lot of creative stuff going on. Georgie, I'm just going to have to take 1 second, guys. Maybe this will give more people a chance to hop on. Georgie. He seems to really want to get into like every garbage possible right now. Okay. So I hope that makes sense, Amanda. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but you're being tested, right? And so as a general, oh, now he has a shoe. So does that not make sense around this full moon that you might feel like there are things where you might be finding like, okay, this is a challenge for me, or this is a lesson for me, and I'm being shown this instead of constantly being triggered. Just pay attention to what it is, right? So like for me, it feels like, again, with Isabel, that balance element, right? So, Georgie, you have to be a good boy, please. All right, let's get on with it. Aren't lines awesome? So Heidi is saying, yes, he's testing you. Yes, he definitely is. So maybe that's connected to someone else. So Amanda, does that make sense? Let me know. So Heidi's coming in with some interesting energy too. I just need to give him this toy and then he's fine. So Heidi, you have Knight of Pentacles trust. And so a big thing with this card, its lesson is that we are advancing. Honey. And what advancing means is that we've evolved over the full moon. So if you've been doing any full moon rituals, like we're working on ourselves, we're amplifying, we are changing, we are growing, and that's a beautiful thing. But there's sometimes a stubbornness to this card as well, where it's like, I don't want to change. I don't want to let this go. I like these aspects of my life. They bring me comfort. So you might find that as we're talking about letting go of the ego or letting go of control or letting go of what other people think, you might find that you're doing something in a certain way for a reason. Sometimes we do things to protect ourselves. Some of our mechanisms that we use are to stay guarded, so we don't have to open up in relationships, things like that. So because Pentacles is here, and I know that's related to work and money, that tells me that you might find that if you're being a little materialistic at this time, that's not really a loving energy. So what are some ways that I can start changing and focus on love versus money or status, things like that? What are some nice things that I could do, either for self-care or to pay more attention to perhaps how somebody else is feeling? And so it's really getting out of the logical brain at this time, because it's not going to serve us at all. So full moons are really a great time to tap in, start doing more intuitive work, okay? As a general message. Heidi, so I hope that makes sense for you. Amanda says, thank you, you're welcome. Hopefully that connected to you in some way. And Heidi, let me know. So Nancy says, yes, please. All right. So Nancy, you have Two of Swords. And Two of Swords, if you could take a really deep breath, that would be great. And this is really talking about impatience. So 2 is a number of planning. Around this full moon, make sure you're really thinking a little bit more outside of the box of what life could be like and not like the way things are. I feel like that will be supportive for you because this is someone who's doing a lot of thinking. So if you're going to be doing a lot of thinking, why don't you start thinking a little bit more about the solutions to anything that you feel like is blocking you? So instead of with you specifically doing too much releasing, and I think everybody hopefully knows by now that we don't dump everything that we have around a full moon. We just kind of like pick something specific that will be helpful for us, and then we gently release that with love and joy and ease. So make sure, I would say, that you're really hyper-focused on like letting go of anything that's blocking you from attracting the things that you want or manifesting the things that you want by identifying with your goals and how you're going to get there. So I feel like a vision board, more work on your future, anything you can do, like future readings, just future. What's my life going to look like that way? What are some solutions to my problems? And really start digging. And that's where I know, anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but the Akashic Records are really supportive for you, either getting an Akashic Records reading or learning how to do that yourself, okay? All right. Jolly Ann. Okay. So Jolly Ann, Nine of Cups, blessings. Great card for you here. First thing that I get is there's a strong sensitivity. You might be so sensitive around this full moon. And again, whenever we're around full moons, we're extra sensitive. So just be aware of that. Nurture that aspect of yourself and apply all the tools that you know and that you have and keep building on that. This is really talking about exercising and doing things that help you grow emotionally. If you continue to do that, then you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Then you're going to feel like better about yourself and your self-worth. It seems like everybody's working on self-worth as well, okay? So Page of Cups. Thank you. Something to ponder. Heidi says, yes, absolutely. That's what this is all about. Often when we do any type of full moon work, the full moon hasn't happened yet. So we're going to pay attention over the next 5 days what's coming through. So Angela, friendship. Okay, so friendship is talking about, it feels like there might be some fear. And again, around full moons, we're being shown like things that aren't serving us. So it might be that you're a better friend than other people are. Like you might feel like you're taken advantage of sometimes. You might have fear of being taken advantage of. And again, this is just a general message for anyone. So notice where your give and take is currently right now. Do you give too much in fear that like someone might not like you, or like you don't want to be like an unkind person, or do you tend to want to receive and not give because you feel like things are owed to you? And again, I'm not saying this is the way, but again, where we're talking about pondering over the next so many days, pay attention to what's coming up for you specifically around that as we're identifying with themes for ourselves. Okay? Shirley. Okay, you're welcome, Nancy. So, Shirley, you have strength. So this is talking about, again, you might be working on feeling overwhelmed. Again, I'm going to get you to take a deep breath if you can. So where are you like hypersensitive? Like what are you hypersensitive towards? Because again, around the full moon, we're going to notice things a lot more. For myself, I've been a lot more triggered about little things that I typically am not triggered towards. And I'm realizing it's because there are certain things that are bothering me with somebody else that are still a reflection of myself. So when other people are triggering you, there's still something within yourself that you need to work on. And just keep that in mind instead of thinking like, oh, they're doing this to me. We want to get away from, like, it's not that we're in a victim mindset, but it's just getting away from like saying that they're doing something wrong, because maybe there's something also that you could be changing that might be walking away from someone too. So ask yourself, are there relationships where I'm continuing to grow, which I feel like there are, and that's amazing, and celebrate that. And also, are there relationships that are fading away, and celebrate that too. So that feels like working on win-win outcomes, okay? And again, for everybody, you might notice that. Okay. So a lot of energy here, guys, with this full moon. You're gonna probably find that it's intense, just letting you know. So Kathy is who I'm working on right now. I want to grab a new card for you. It feels really emotional. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles is saying that the energy feels up and the energy feels down. Okay, so around this time, make sure that you're feeling like emotionally you're able to notice when you're feeling really, really up and when you're feeling really, really down. And so that's more just working on self awareness. And if you do notice that you're not connecting to yourself, go inward. As we were talking about the weekly reading, please watch the weekly reading specifically for you, Kathy. It'll be really helpful because there are certain people that are meant to watch those videos. I also did a painting related to that. But if you continue to check in with your emotions and where you're in any type of extreme, you're going to find that stuff gets really real for you, but it also gets really amazing. And so this deep inner work that you're doing is going to really benefit you. So I wouldn't shy away from doing a ritual. I wouldn't shy away from being emotional and embracing that side to yourself, whatever that looks like and feels like. And I know it's really hard at times, guys. That's why I invite you to reach out for more support, whatever that looks like for you. If it's buying a crystal, or if it's getting like two card reading, just say like, you know what, Robin, I'd really like it if you pulled me up 2 cards, right? How much would that cost? I don't mind doing stuff like that for you guys. That's what I'm here for. So please reach out if you feel called. If you're waiting for me to suggest that for you guys, that could take a while, all right? So don't hesitate to reach out. You're welcome, Shirley. Feel free to share anything that you guys want while you're here. Don't be shy about it. And I think that we're on to Stacy. If I skip you, I apologize. So again, fear and worry is a really big theme for everybody. It feels like we're worrying about things in the back of our head. So Stacy, what's coming up for you is just there might be like some neglect that you could be working on around the full moon. So who has neglected you in your life? Who do you feel like, have you neglected yourself? Have like people neglected you before? Like who hasn't paid enough attention to you? Who left you behind? Who made you feel badly in your life? It feels like cord cutting will be supportive, and um, like some guided meditations around cord cutting. Underneath my YouTube channel, I do have a cord cutting exercise with Archangel Michael. Again, if you're not underneath my YouTube, please subscribe to that. Check out some of the things that I have. Underneath my membership group, even if you're a beginner, we all get guided meditations, and it's all based around what you're sharing in the group. So if you want a cord cutting exercise in the membership group, let me know and I'll do one specific to you. But it's really about chop chop, letting that go. And if we don't know who those people are, that's where it makes it complicated, right? So when we have the guided meditation where I'm tuning into your energy, I can help support you in who that person is. But I feel like if you journal outside of the meditation, you'll start to see who it is. And often it's the people that we least expect. Sometimes it's the people that we love. And we often go towards the people that we don't like, right? Or somebody from deep in the past. I'm just going to take one chop. So I'm just going to take 1 minute because I want to check on my puppy. All right. So thank you, Robin. So I think we're on to Lauren. I hope that was helpful, Stacy. Sometimes we just need to become a little bit more aware of what it is that's coming up, right? Because you already know, but it's just like an add-on to something you already know. Or if you don't know that, again, over so many days, you might notice, maybe that's what she was talking about. Or perhaps after you do your ritual, 2 months down the road, you might say, okay, that was definitely what she was talking about. But when we watch these videos, it's timeless, right? So if things aren't making sense to you right now, that's okay. It's absolutely okay. It doesn't, most times it really doesn't. That's why when I get readings, I write everything down, and then later on it makes sense. So King of Pentacles. Georgie. Lauren. Okay. So Lauren, I get a lot of tension around my head, okay? And so something tells me you have a kind of like a busy life. Come here, honey. And that tells me that even though we're working on love, it feels like when we're not in rest and digest mode, it's hard to really emphasize and focus on the energy of love. So for you, one thing I mentioned in the weekly reading was we need more rest and digest, because when we get into that state, we're more likely to heal. So often we have to slow down and start identifying with what that means. And so this is a very powerful energy, but it's also telling us that we might get caught up in work, we might get caught up in family, when really we're losing touch with what's most important, which is our heart. So remind yourself of why you're here on the earth, and continue to feed that soul. Maybe getting a life path reading feels important for you. Like, what is my life path? Why am I here? When I do future readings, when I go into people's Akashic records, I do timelines for this life, but I also do future life readings, which are quite interesting, which kind of helps us learn about the lessons that we're meant to do here, so that we can get on and move on to the next one. And again, if you believe in that, okay? So this full moon stuff that's coming up can be helpful for, again, years down the road. And so I wouldn't dismiss what you're feeling at this time and really work with it and really embrace it, okay? It's really powerful. This is something you can research a bit more on. I started learning this, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I find it so supportive, and that's why I want to share it, because it's been so helpful for me. And we can never stop learning. Oh, another shoe. All right. Mercy, I would love a card if you have time. My computer seems to be acting up now. Okay, so Mercy. Okay, we're gonna go to you, Georgie. Mercy, is this what your life is like too? I know you have a child. Okay, so Mercy, what we have for you is Four of Wands. You're tired. Around full moons, we get really, really, really fatigued. And the reason why we get tired is because there's so much coming up. And it's beautiful. We want things to come up, but it's like we want to take everything, it feels like, with a grain of salt too. So it's like, okay, I feel like this is coming up, but I'm just going to kind of like compartmentalize and put it over here. Because when we're tired, we don't need to dissect everything at once, right? As you know, you've gone to school, you've taken all the same courses as I have almost. So you know that it's like an overload of emotions and information, and that's why I suggest to do things in bite-sized pieces. That's why we're working with things a little bit before the full moon comes in, and each day kind of like touch on a little bit and be super kind. If you are overly sensitive and overly tired at this time, it's okay to skip full moons too, because we can't completely skip out of it, but we don't have to like emphasize on anything additional to all the work that we're already doing. And that's what happens to me sometimes. I feel like, okay, like this isn't the full moon to be like working with tons of people, just because it feels really intense. And then there will be other full moons where I feel like I'm all in with tons of people. And again, it's just honoring your sensitivity and where you are, okay? Very important. And that goes for everybody. Just honor where you are in this moment. Even though I'm bringing up certain things for other people, it doesn't resonate with everybody because we're doing a general reading. And when we work with you individually, it's completely different. Thank you. That resonates with me. I feel pulled in 800 directions some days and lately a lot. Okay, perfect. So that's something to consider to work on. Again, if you hop into my membership group, then I can do clearings on that, and then you watch that at your own time and you just receive the healings, which is fabulous. So, Katie would like a card if I have time. Mercy says that's so funny. Yes. Thank you, Robin. That is spot on. I'm so glad. Yes, trust me. As a healer, it's a lot sometimes. Things can be really tough. Okay. So Nancy, one thing with you, I feel like it's time for you to start doing card readings. I teach card readings. If you need to learn specific details, you can just ask me to create a workshop for you, and I'll create that. If other people don't want to do it, that's okay. It'll just be us, but we can invite others to join us. But I work on that basis, that there's an interest with someone, okay? But what I get for you is Knight of Cups. This is talking about lowering your expectations at this time, okay? That means taking the pressure off of like other people, taking the pressure off of yourself. This is not a time to add to your list of things that you like want to do. It's more like scratching things off of your list that you thought you wanted to do, okay? Because the new moon that we just had was all about simplifying and bringing in peace. So if you haven't watched the new moon ritual that I did, that's in the membership group. But if you want to go back and watch my new moon reading underneath YouTube, you can go back and reflect on the last couple weeks that have been happening for you. But it's all about like simplifying So if you notice that things are coming up for you still in relation to that new moon, just pay attention to maybe there are some things that, some messages that you weren't getting a couple weeks ago that you're now starting to realize, okay? Because we're still kind of in that new moon aspect where we're just starting to get into the full moon, okay? I hope that makes sense. I love a card reading workshop. Okay, so awesome. So Katie, if you want, I can set it up for us, and then anyone else that wants to join, I can make it public to them. Okay, I'll just kind of like create the class. And then we have Margaret. The dog is so acting up. And you'll find that too around full moons where animals really act up. They're very sensitive too, just like people. And they just feel it too, okay? So 3 of Cups, Margaret, you have the celebration card. This is someone who needs to get their energy up a little bit more. So find ways that you can raise your vibration. That's being around the right people. That's having the right conversations with the right people. That's feeling like you're in the right place at the right time. So if you were to work on something, I would say just letting go of times where you felt like you were falling into a trap, or you're falling into like social norms or categories, or places where people have just told you you should be doing this or you should be doing that, okay? Because that lowers our vibration. We get to do what we want to do when we want to do it. That's part of freedom of choice, okay? And when we feel empowered that way, life gets a lot better, okay? So letting go of anywhere where you feel like you can't be yourself or be free-spirited or think in a way that is freeing mentally too. So I'm getting the word trapped, okay? Thank you, but I think we need another reading. Yes, I agree, Nancy. A lot of that, I could go into depth, but I'm not going to. Tumi's saying yes, okay. Hey, hey! Okay, and then we have Valerie. What do you have? Oh, thank God he has his toy. I thought he had my lingerie. So Valerie, you have the Wheel of Fortune. My eyes feel really tired, so that tells me you're working on clairvoyance. And what clairvoyance is when we're able to see things really clearly. We can start to see spirits and visions and dreams and stuff like that. This is saying you're starting to become a little more, you're getting deeper, which is awesome. One thing we're working on in our membership group is like our dream workshop, dream journals, which I've started doing on a daily basis. And even if I don't remember in the morning, I'm writing it down later on in the day when I'm starting to get these little visions of the dream. So I would say that becoming aware, a little bit more aware of how much control you do have over your intuition and your magical powers. Because sometimes we'll feel like, I don't have the gift, I don't have the talent. And the thing is, around full moons, where we get really confused. It's like there's an illusion. That's what, when we're too emotional, we can't see clearly. But when we can work through that and work and use those powers and realize, oh my God, I dream so much deeper around full moons. Like, was that even a dream? And it's dissecting that. So it feels like you want to start doing that. So I would say really go deeper into your powers and your abilities. And around full moons, this is a great time. If you want to learn more about that, you can share in our membership group some things that you want to start learning. And for VIPs, I do monthly healing tools, and you can share anything that you want to start learning. And then I do videos based around what you want to start learning. So if it's, I want to start learning how to tap in, how to develop my intuitive side, maybe it's your clairvoyance, etc. Okay, so also if you want to let go of times where you felt like you weren't allowed to use your gifts because of finances, or you weren't allowed to use your gifts because you were told that that's wrong for you to do, that's not the right profession, or you're a witch, or whatever it is. That's a big thing for people. When we want to use our intuition, we want to be capable of knowing what's going on in our hearts and know how to make decisions and be really clear on what our next step is, okay? It feels really important for everybody. So yes, Nancy, I'll inbox you or you inbox me. We'll reach out. And then I think we're on to Tammy, and that might be it for us. But I have 2 cards laying on the, he's just in everything tonight. We have 2 cards. These were on the floor. These were facing down. So Tammy, that tells me that there's an upside down card on the floor that wants to be picked up, okay? And that's telling me don't be afraid to develop your skills and abilities, as we're seeing a theme for everyone. This is talking about not just your femininehood, but your teacher qualities, your ability to teach children, your ability to teach adults. When we have specific relationships, often we might be, I say often and might, that you might feel like you're the teacher in the relationship. Okay, this could be a parent. I'm their teacher, which sucks when you're the one that has to teach your parent. I know that. There are also times where you're in an intimate relationship. Why am I the teacher here? Like, they should be able to do this on their own. So I would say with this full moon, just continue to recognize your star qualities, your ability to have healthy relationships. So again, self-esteem, self-worth is really important for you, but it's more about your power and your femininehood and your teacher qualities. So if there are any blocks for you about feeling like really powerful, that might be something that you can acknowledge around this time. And if you don't even know if you feel that way, just tap in to what's underneath that, okay? Around full moon rituals, we just write down what we'd like to release and trust what comes through for you. I will also put in the comments here for everyone the full moon ritual that I have underneath YouTube. I did it a really long time ago. It's probably not up to date, but it gives you a general idea of what we write down, how we write it down, and kind of why we do that. And again, if you want to join my membership group, hop in at any level. It doesn't matter. There are perks to every aspect of that. It's really nice to share space with people. And again, our full moon ritual will be up under there tomorrow at some point. All right. I have lots of stuff that can help you around this time. That can be very grounding, that can help you during times where you're letting go and it's not the most comfortable. We have cleansing sprays. I have like candles. I have herbs and teas and things that you can burn that can help you and support you around the full moon. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching and take care. Bye-bye.